Hi everyone, now let's revise sewage treatment plant. So in sewage treatment plant we have primary treatment and secondary treatment. Primary treatment is the physical process in which we do filtration and sedimentation. Filtration, we do sequential filtration in filtration tank to remove the floating debris. In sedimentation, we pass the filtered sewage into settling tank to allow the smaller particles and dust to settle down and form primary sludge. Now in secondary treatment, which is a biological process, we have constructed an aeration tank in which there is constant air is pumped and there is continuous agitation, that is it is shaken up to allow the growth of bacteria and fungi which are associated together to form flocks. So flocks are vigorously grown when constantly air is pumped and the aeration tank is shaken up. So the frogs, they use oxygen to digest the organic matter that is present in effluent and decrease the BOD. Now you may be wondering what is BOD. BOD is biochemical oxygen demand, which is the amount of oxygen that can be consumed by aerobic microbes, that is frogs, to digest all the organic matter in 1 liter of water oxidized by bacteria. So basically, by common sense, if water is polluted, then the BOD is more. Now we are the water we drink, it has less BOD. Okay, so more the water polluted with organic matter, more will be the BOD. So BOD is directly proportional to amount of organic matter. You can remember by this. So basically, what does frogs do? They use oxygen to digest the organic matter which is present in effluent, and they decrease the BOD, that is biochemical oxygen demand. They decrease it. Okay, they decrease it. BOD, they decreases. So the water become less polluted, obviously. And then from aeration tank, what we do is we transferred it into second settling tank. So in second settling tank, now effluent with decreased BOD passes into another second settling tank for sedimentation, and during this sedimentation, flocks are settled down and they form activated sludge. After sedimentation, the supernatant is disgraded into rivers. This is directly disgraded into rivers as it is less polluted. Okay, and while this activated sludge is then pumped back into aeration tank to serve as an inoculum or starter for flocks growth. Okay, so basically we pump it back so that it can act as an inoculum or a starter for flocks growth. Okay, rest of the activated sludge is passed into small anaerobic sludge digester. So there is this anaerobic sludge digester. So here it digests the aerobic flocks, the aerobic flocks. So this anaerobic sludge digester, they digest the aerobic flocks. Aerobic, why? Because they are doing in the presence of oxygen. Okay, common sense. And they release multiple gases, which is a biogas. And we have three gases: CH4, H2S, and we have CO2. Okay, this can be obviously used as biogas. Okay, so other kinds of bacteria grows anaerobically and digest the bacteria and the fungi in the sludge. Okay, and also there is one more thing that we have to know, that the Ministry of Environment and Forest, they have initiated Ganga plan and Yamuna action plan to save these major rivers of country from pollution. So they have done Ganga action plan and Yamuna action plan by the Ministry of Government, Ministry of Environment and Forest. So they have initiated these two plans so that the rivers will be less polluted. And what they're doing is they are creating more number of STPs, more number of sewage treatment plants, so that the sewage is not directly discharged into the water body, harming the aquatic life. Okay, and yeah, now we will revise biogas. So in biogas, I'll tell you very fast. In biogas, what we have is this. This is a typical biogas plant. So in biogas, first of all, you should remember that biogas or gobar gas is the same thing, and there are three gases which are produced. Number one is CH4, number two is H2, and the number three is CO2. H2 is not produced. Hydrogen sulfide is not produced. H2 instead of it, H2 is produced. Okay, so what happens is the components of firstly, let's see the components of biogas. So first we have this concrete tank which is 10 to 15 feet deep, and then we have a floating cover. This is a floating cover that you can see, that floating cover, and that is placed on the slurry and rises as the gas is produced. So what happens is we have two outlets. Okay, in first outlet we fill dung plus water, and this we fill sludge. Okay, sludge in this outlet, there is sludge, and now in dung and water we use methanogens. So okay, methanogens has methanobacterium, which is a common bacterium. This is an anaerobic sludge. So what happens is that methanogens, okay, methanogens are present in the gut of cows, not cows, basically cattle. They are present in the gut or the stomach of cattle. Methanogens, what they do, the dung, we don't take dung, we add to make it aqueous, we add water too. Okay, now what happens is this dung and water, it pass on to here, and this is made up of concrete, that is made of cement. It is made up of cement, kind of cement. Now dung is flat and it is 10 to 15 feet deep. Okay, now the outlet is connected to pipe, and first of all, what happens is we pass this, and then it is pumped, and there is an outlet through which gas is released, that is CH4, CO2 and H2. And here is a sludge which can be used, this is a waste part, it can be used as manure in farms and all. And it is basically constructed in rural areas. Biogas plants are usually constructed in rural areas, and they can be used for like cooking and lighting. And the biogas technology in India, the technology was developed mainly by IARI, which is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, and uh, KVIC, which is Khadi and Village Industries Commission. Khadi and Village Industries Commission. You have to remember the full form also. So this is basically biogas. Let me summarize it. We construct a deep hole which is 10 to 15 deep, 15 feet deep, and then what we do is that we the type of also the type of gas which is produced, it depends on microbes and organic substances that they utilize. That is why H2S is not produced, instead H2 is produced. Okay, so what we do, we dig a hole which is 10 to 15 meter deep, and then we take dung and water here, in this one, and then dung and water is transferred from here, and then we pump it, and then the gas is produced, that is transferred to pipe to homes, and there is a sludge which is manure basically, and that is it. Yeah, so we'll just read the theory as fast as we can. So biogas is a mixture of gases containing predominantly methane, which is produced by microbial activity, which can be used as fuel. You can learn that microbes produce different types of gaseous end products during growth and metabolism. The type of gas produced depends upon the microbes and the organic substances that they utilize. In the example site is relation of fermentation of dough, cheese making, and production of beverages. The main gas was CO2. However, in certain bacteria which grows anaerobically on cellulose material produce large amount of methane along with CO2 and H2. These bacteria are collectively known as methanogens, and one of the common bacteria is methanobacterium. These bacteria are commonly found in anaerobic sludge during the sewage treatment. These bacteria are present in the rumen. They are present in the rumen, a part of stomach of cattle. A lot of cellulose material present in food of cattle is also present in the rumen. In rumen, these bacteria help in breakdown of cellulose and plays an important role in nutrition of cattle. Okay. Thus, the exterior dung of a cattle, commonly known as cover, is rich in bacteria. Dung can be used in the generation of biogas, which is gobar gas, which is CH4, CO2, and H2. The biogas consists of concrete tank, which is 10 to 15 meter deep, in which biowaste are collected and slurry of dung is fed. Okay, slurry of the dung is fed, and the biogas is collected, and a floating cover is placed over the slurry, which keeps the rising as a gas rising. It keeps on rising. Okay, this keeps it as a gas is produced. Produced in the tank due to the microbial activity. The biogas has an outlet which is connected to a pipe to supply biogas to nearby houses. The spent slurry is removed through another outlet and may be used as a fertilizer. Cattle dung is available in large quantities in rural areas where cattle are used for a variety of purposes. So biogas plant is more often built in rural areas. The biogas thus produced is used for cooking and lighting. The picture of biogas plant is shown this. The technology of biogas production was mainly due to the efforts of IARI, which is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, and Khadi and Village Industries Commission. So yeah, that is it. That is a biogas plant, and then we will first and also read sewage treatment fatafat se, so that we can revise this also. So we know the large quantities of wastewater are generated every day in cities and towns. Major component of this wastewater is human excreta. Municipal wastewater is called sewage. Municipal wastewater is also called sewage. It contains large amount of organic water and microbes, many of which are pathogenic. So this cannot be discharged naturally into natural water bodies like rivers and stream directly. Before disposal, sewage is treated in sewage treatment plant to make it less polluted. Okay, treatment of wastewater is done in heterotropic microbe treatment of so wastewater is done in heterotropic microbes naturally present in sewage. So heterotropic microbes here is frogs that I already told you, heterotropic microbes. Okay, so Primary treatment. These treatment steps basically involve physical removal of particles large and small from the sewage through filtration and sedimentation. These are removed in stages. Initially, floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. Then the grit, soil, and small pebbles are removed by sedimentation. All the solid that settle from the primary sludge and the supernatant forms influent. The effluent from the settling primary settling tank is taken for secondary treatment. Secondary treatment or biological treatment. Primary effluent is passed into a large aeration tank where it is constantly agitated mechanically and is pumped. This allows the vigorous growth of useful aerobic microbes into flocs, masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh-like structure. So flocs are like kind of mesh-like structure. While growing, the microbes consume the major part of organic matter in the influent. They consume it to decrease the BOD, okay? BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. This reduces the BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. It refers to the amount of oxygen that could be consumed if all the organic matter in 1 liter of solution were oxidized by the bacteria. The sewage water is treated till the BOD is reduced. The BOD test measured the rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in sample of water, and the indirectly BOD is a measure of organic matter present in the water. It indirectly measures, like, if organic matter is more, then the BOD is more. Okay, so the greater of the BOD wastewater, more is polluted, and BOD is more than polluted water is more polluted. Okay, so BOD should be less, then only we can drink the water. Okay, if any water's BOD is ज़्यादा, so you cannot drink, it is harmful. Okay, once the BOD of sewage or wastewater is reduced significantly, the influent is then passed into settling tank where the bacterial frogs are allowed to sediment. The sediment is called activated sludge. A small part of the activated sludge is then pumped back into the aeration tank to serve as an inoculum as a starter. The remaining moisture part of the sludge is pumped into large tanks called anaerobic sludge digester. Here, other kinds of bacteria which grows anaerobically digest the bacteria and the fungi in the sludge. During this digestion, bacteria produces a mixture of gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. These gases form biogas and can be used as source of energy as it is inflammable. The influent from the secondary treatment plant is generally released into natural water bodies like rivers and streams. The aerial view is given. So in aerial view, you can see this is the sewage plant, and then you can see how their secondary treatment is secondary treatment or biological treatment. Okay, so yeah, so you have to appreciate how microbes are actually useful in our day-to-day lives. That's why the chapter's name is microbes in human welfare, right? Common sense. Then sewage is being produced in larger quantities than ever before. The number of sewage treatment is not, but they have not increased. Okay, because the waste is produced very much, but the sewage treatment plants are very less. Okay, that's why they're releasing them into the water bodies, which can lead to waterborne diseases, obviously to us also, and it is also harming the aquatic life. So that's why Ministry of Environment and Forest have initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan. Ministry of Environment and Forest have initiated Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan to save the rivers of the country from pollution. Okay, they are constructing more STPs, sewage treatment plants. Okay, so you have to remember this. Ganga Action Plan, Yamuna Action Plan. There's one thing also you have to remember, that the biogas was developed by IARI, which is Indian Agriculture Research Institute, and Khadi KVIC, which is Khadi and Village Industries Commission. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching.